जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा काला चंजी राधे। जय राधा काला चंजी राधे। Jayo Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe. Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Baladeva, Jayo Subhadra. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya, Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya, Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Caitanya, Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra, Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki, Jaishnav and Govind ki. Thank you for the Mridanga and Kartal. So we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrta as like every Sunday, and we are in Madhya 11. We have the screen. Yeah, Madhya 11. We will start from text 101, but before that, and we would also try to sing that Vaishnava Bhajan, Tulsi Sakhi Mataji, if you want to pull out, Yadi Gaur Na Hoito. It's on KK song, Yadi Gaur Na Hoito. You can either pull out on screen or in your phone. So basically, I will just do a quick recap of this chapter from where I left. I like Pratap Rudra, King Pratap Rudra, right? He wants to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu, being a sannyasi, he didn't want to meet King Pratap Rudra because it says the kings, closely associate with wealth and women, from which a sannyasi should fast from. And so, but King Pratap Rudra was not an ordinary king. He was a devout, he is a very he was devoted to Lord. And his guru, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, had told that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Lord himself, Krishna himself. So he became imagine Krishna is right there and you want to meet him, and he's saying, no, I don't want to meet you. So it's that situation in the heart, very desperate, to see the Lord. But the Lord is not agreeing. What can you do? Like, we are all under the, it's Krishna he is Swatantra, right? He can do what he wants to do. We cannot tell him, okay, you have to do it. All we can do is beg. And then he is asking Pratap Rudra, what can I do? If being a king is an obstacle between me meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'll rather give it up. So now, I was thinking on that point, when this movement started, so many people gave up home, family, their job, and even now, doctors stop practicing this, that. And I was thinking, even Prataprudra could have given up his kingdom to meet the Lord after all. Like, this is not even like once in a lifetime opportunity. It's once in a lifetimes, lives and lives after life. That day may never come. I mean, of course, if you see the Lord here, you will see the Lord there in the spiritual sky. But it's like, it's a one-time opportunity for the soul. And then I was thinking of this, like the Kurukshetra Yuddha, right? The battle at Kurukshetra, the Mahabharata, the entire thing happened. Why? So that Yudhishthir can become the king. And why was it so important? Because dharma has to be established over adharma. Duryodhan was, personified adharma. And if he was the king, he will torment the entire kingdom. And the people won't remain, even the saintly people will get, tortured. And the saintly people will become not so saintly. So that's why we should have, the political leaders, the king, and any sort of leaders should be Krishna conscious. We also, earlier classes, we had mentioned that when Sanatan Goswami and Rup Goswami had to meet the Lord, they had to go through so much, they had to become, politically correct and this and that to meet the king, to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the king was not Krishna conscious. He was from a different faith and he made their life so difficult. So they had to cheat, etc. But when Prataprudra, being the king, Ramananda Rai wanted to meet the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the same Lord, Prataprudra not only gave the permission, he immediately said, go and I will give you the pension. You don't have to worry about, financial needs, because I will provide for it. You go and meet. Because Prataprudra was a devotee. So this is what we see when a king is a devotee, when king is not. And that's why Sarvabhauma became very upset when, very sad that he was saying that I will give up kingdom, I will not remain king if that's what is causing the Lord. So Mahaprabhu was doing his duty. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the Brahmana. That time king used to take, advice from the Brahmanas. And that's how it used to run, unlike today. And then he was thinking, as a Brahmana, it is my job to have a devoted king, sitting at the throne. And so he goes back and then he comes up with a plan saying, no, you don't have to give up your kingdom. I have a plan. And you can meet the Lord during Ratha Yatra when he gets very tired while dancing in front of the cart. You go and meet. And then he asked, because Ratha Yatra starts after 14 days of Snan Yatra. So he asked, when is Snan Yatra? And that time it's called Annavasara. That's time when Lord is being painted for 14 days. And the devotees, they don't get to see the Lord. Now Prabhupada writes there that those devotees who sees the Lord every day regularly, it becomes very difficult for them to not see the Lord even for a day. And I was thinking, when our curtains were down, and we were told that, we can't see Radha Kalachandji. Of course, at least talking about myself, they had much more. I was like, okay, I don't have to go to temple. But for them, they were very sad. And similarly, Mahaprabhu was at that stage, he's Lord himself. He was feeling the separation. So he ran to Alarnath. And Alarnath, he went, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya went, and a few other devotees went, and then got the Lord back, and the king was informed. And, Jagannath Puri is a very special place because Krishna is feeling the separation from Vrindavan and the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. And that's where Jagannath's form appeared, right? He is in the mood of separation. And Mahaprabhu is also in the mood of separation. So this is Krishna in the mood of separation of gopis, and Mahaprabhu is, Srimati Radharani in the mood of separation from Krishna. So they could not see each other. So whenever we see the different kind of form of Jagannath Ji, he is in the mood of separation, symbolizing missing Vrindavan, reminding us of Vrindavan, and the mood that Madhavendra Puri introduced us to, that is the mood of separation, is what Jagannath symbolizes. Anyways, so the Lord is back to Jagannath Puri, and king was informed. And meanwhile, Gopinath Acharya comes because he is a Brahmana, he gives his blessing. I was also thinking how fortunate King Prataprudra was, though he was thinking he is not fortunate. But he had the blessing of, all the Vaishnavas. But Gopinath Acharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Rai Ramananda. Everyone, this, primary devotees, they wanted him to meet the Lord, and they were like, they're being instrumental. Like everybody is adding, like how it can happen. So when Bhattacharya was saying, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was saying, Lord is little softened towards you now because of Ramananda Rai's, recommendation. And then Gopinath Acharya says, okay, the Lord's 200 devotees are here, the followers are here. King said, I will take care of their shelter, their food, everything. And Gopinath Acharya, but can you also introduce me? But he was asking Bhattacharya, can you introduce them to me? And Bhattacharya says, I don't know them that well, but Gopinath Acharya does. So they all went to the roof and they started seeing one by one. So first Advaita Acharya came. When Advaita Acharya came, Swarup Damodar went to garland Advaita Acharya. And then again Govinda came. So Gopinath Acharya was introducing, okay, this is Swarup Damodar, close associate of Lord, and this is Govinda, his servant, who used to serve Ishwara Puri before, and this is Advaita Acharya. Seeing Advaita Acharya's effulgence, king was astonished. And eventually he saw all the Vaishnavas being so effulgent, and he started saying, I have never seen anybody, any crowd like this, who are so effulgent at the same time. The kirtan is so wonderful, like, goosebump giving, like sort of thing. And then he is like, that goosebump thing is not there, I just made it up. Like, and like it is so ecstatic. Yeah, that's the word, blissful. And he said, this is Prema Kirtan, introduced by Mahaprabhu for prachar, for preaching. And then I had written down few things that as I was reading it. So I'll just say, and then we will move to today's verse. I hope you have found that song also. Sorry. So we are in Madhya 11. So here Prabhupada says a very beautiful thing in the purport. I'm just checking if I missed out anything. Yeah. He's saying this effulgence of a pure devotee comes from the Vaishnava etiquette, the Vaishnava behavior. And there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which is 3:25-21. And there it says that Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana, the decoration of a sadhu is, of course, tilak and Vaishnava attire and a kanti for men, shikha. But he says, but the main, the bhushana, the ornament of a devotee is, the symptoms of a sadhu are being tolerant, merciful, friendly or well-wisher for everybody. He is peaceful, abides by the scriptures. And all these are sublime in a devotee. So that's what a sadhu is, a pure devotee is. That's Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada is saying, by this, by their behavior, they're always thinking for others, they're peaceful, no matter how the circumstances are there. And we see here so many instances of Srila Prabhupada when, externally he looked agitated, but internally he was so peaceful. And these are the bhushana, the ornaments of a devotee. And then Prabhupada in the purport of 96 says, the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness should go to India during the birth ceremony of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Mayapur and perform Sankirtan congregationally. And he said it because the king, Prataprudra, was so impressed by this congregational chanting, the devotees of the Lord. And he says, if you do this in India, you go together and perform it. And the important personalities in India will become very impressed by seeing you, like how Prataprudra is becoming, so mesmerized by the congregational chanting. Okay. So we are in 101. And the previous verse was very important too. The previous speaker spoke on it. So we're not getting into that one. Before that, we will chant Jyoti Gaurna Hoita. This is Yadi Gaur Na Hoito by Vasudev Ghosh. You can repeat as I sing. Jodi gaur na hoito tobe ki hoito kemone dhoritam de. রাধার মহিমা প্রেম রস সীমা জগতে জানা তোকে যদি গড় না হইতো তবে কি হইতো কেমনে ধরিতাম দে মধুর বৃন্দা বিপিন মাধুরী প্রবেশ চতুরী সার দূর বৃন্দা বিপিন মাধুরী প্রবেশ চতুরী সার ব্রজ যুবতী ভাবের ভকতি শকতি হইত কার যুবতী যদি গড় না হইত তবে কি হইত কেমনে ধরিতাম দে গাও গাও পুনা গৌরাঙ্গের গুণা সরল করিয়া মন রঙ্গের গুণা সরল করিয়া মন এ ভাব সাগরে এমন দয়ালু না দেখিয়ে একজন যদি গড় না হইতো তবে কি হইতো কেমনে ধরিতাম দে আমি গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া নাগেনু গলিয়া কেমনে ধরিনু দে বাসুরহিয়া পাষাণ দিয়া কেমনে গড়িয়াছে যদি গড় না হইতো তবে কি হইতো কেমনে ধরিতাম দে So basically this song, this is by Vasudev Ghosh. And Vasudev Ghosh, if you go to the text 88 of this chapter, you will know about Vasudev Ghosh. And I was so happy that I was thinking of this song and Prabhupada blessed with the purport of Vasudev Ghosh. This is 88 purport. This is about three brothers. They are Govinda Ghosh, Madhav Ghosh and Vasudev Ghosh. Prabhupada writes, it's a short purport. Govinda Ghosh belonged to the Kayastha dynasty of the Uttara Radhiya section. and he was known as Ghosh Thakura. This is Govinda Ghosh. Even to the present day, there is a place named Agradeep near Katwa where a fair takes place and is named after Ghosh Thakura. As far as Vasudev Ghosh, who is the composer of the song that we sang, as far as Vasudev Ghosh is concerned, he composed many nice songs about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these are authorized Vaishnava songs, like the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, Govinda Das Thakur, and other great Vaishnava. So it's a very, stamped by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll go through the translation of the song that we sang. The theme of the song is, if Gauranga Mahaprabhu wouldn't have been there, what would have happened to us? That's the theme of that song. So I was thinking through about this song through entire, because it was Gaur Purnima, and it is very obvious to think, if Mahaprabhu wouldn't have been there, if we were not in this movement, as soon as, if Mahaprabhu was not there, if Srila Prabhupada was not there to introduce Mahaprabhu to us, what would have happened? Where I would have been otherwise also, not just in bhakti, but, even materially. So we can read the translation. You wanted to read translation?
If Lord Gaura had not appeared as the Yuga Avatar in this age of Kali, then what would have become of us? How could we have tolerated living who in this universe would have ever learned about the topmost limits of loving mellows that compromise the glory of Sri Radha?
Yeah, so we wouldn't have known Srimati Radharani. So the altar would have been just Krishna and no Srimati Radharani, and that itself feels like, it's just half of Krishna consciousness. If Srimati Radha, or probably because as glorious for us, Srimati Radharani is the, shelter. So without Mahaprabhu, no Srimati Radharani, and that thought itself makes us feel so grateful to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and immediately Srila Prabhupada, because he is the one who told about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Go on with the next translation.
Who would have had the power to render ecstatic devotional service that follows in the footsteps of the damsels of Raja? Indeed, the clever expertise of the Raja Gopis is a prerequisite for entering the supremely sweet forest of Vrinda Devi.
So no Vrindavan Dham, no Madhurya Ras, no mood of separation, no Braja Bhumi, and no Braja Gopis.
Oh, please sing again and again of the glorious qualities of Lord Gauranga. Just try to keep your heart simple. Not even one person within this ocean of nescience has ever seen such a magnanimous personality as he. So,
this is this is called Bhavasagar. This word I have heard maybe when I was 1 year old, 2 year old, I don't remember. We used to go for kirtan, and then it was regarding how we glorify, Guru. That's when I heard Bhavasagar, and so I knew this Bhavasagar means the world is called Bhavasagar, this is something you can't cross over unless you have the shelter of Guru. That I have heard when I was very young. And something similar, that stanza is Bhavasagar tarono karono he Guru Dev daya koro dino jane. This Bhavasagar is impossible to cross over. Oh Gurudev, please help me to cross it over. Something like Samsara Dhava Nalalida Logo. Yeah, please go ahead with the next one.
Scroll. Number. Even though I chant the holy name of Lord Gauranga, somehow I still have not melted in ecstasy. How then have I maintained the burden of this body? How has the Creator fashioned this body with the stone in place of Vasudev Ghosha's heart?
Thank you. So basically, he is lamenting. First he said, if Gauranga Mahaprabhu wouldn't have been there, how would have I held my body? How would have I lived, or any of us would have lived, because it's a Vaishnava society. So how would any Vaishnava especially a Gauriya Vaishnava would live without Gauranga Mahaprabhu or his mercy? And now towards the end he is saying, see, I'm still alive. but my heart is not melted by saying Gauranga, Gauranga. So if my heart is not melting, saying Gauranga, means I don't have a heart, I have a stone there. And that's the song. We'll go to today's verse. It's pink. Today's verse is the verse, 101. রাজা কহে শাস্ত্রে প্রমাণ চৈতন্য হয় কৃষ্ণ তবে go ahead তবে কেন পণ্ডিত সব তাহাতে বিতৃষ্ণ any of you want to recite? রাজা কহে প্রমাণ চৈতন্য হয় কৃষ্ণ রাজা কহে শাস্ত্র প্রমাণ চৈতন্য হয় কৃষ্ণ তবে কেনে পণ্ডিত সব তাহাতে বিতৃষ্ণ রাজা কহে শাস্ত্র প্রমাণ চৈতন্য হন কৃষ্ণ তবে কেনে পণ্ডিত সব তাহাতে বিতৃষ্ণ রাজা কহে শাস্ত্র প্রমাণ চৈতন্য হন কৃষ্ণ তবে কেনে পণ্ডিত সব তাহাতে বিতৃষ্ণ The king said, the word bitrishna, it means distaste. Trishna means, when you feel thirsty, and bitrishna is just opposite, when you don't feel thirsty, like you have no, you don't want it, sort of bitrishna, like I don't want bitrishna means. It's a word in Hindi as well. So the king said, now Prataparudra is speaking to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The king said, according to the evidence given in the revealed scriptures, it is concluded that Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? So, we are moving to the theme that we were singing, if Gauranga Mahaprabhu wouldn't have been there and his mercy. So I was thinking this song was appropriate. I would have sung it anyway. But, I felt it was contextual also, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is going to explain why, like even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord himself, some people don't recognize him. And that's what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is going to explain, why even if it is like sanctified, bona fide that Mahaprabhu is the Lord, why then that some people don't recognize him. And that's following is the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's reply. I will just read it so that we can discuss something within the time. ভট্ট কহে তার কৃপা লেশ হয়ে যারে সেই সে তাহারে কৃষ্ণ করে লইতে পারে Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. The Sankirtan movement purport. The Sankirtan movement can be spread by a person who is specially favored by Lord Krishna. Krishna Shakti binata nahe taro pravartan. Without first obtaining the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, of the Lord, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord. One who can spread the Lord's name is called Labdha Chaitanya in the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. The Labdha Chaitanya is one who has actually awakened his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. The influence of the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness is such that it can awaken others to become immediately Krishna conscious and engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. In this way, the descendants of pure devotees increase, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes much pleasure in seeing the increase of his devotees. The word Sumedasaha, which comes from the last to last verse, means sharply intelligent. When one's intelligence is sharp, he can increase the interest of common man in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and through him in loving Radha Krishna. Those not interested in understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply material in their attempts as professional chanting and dancing for money, despite their supposed artistry. If one does not have full faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cannot properly chant and dance in the Sankirtan movement. Artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiment or sentimental agitation, but this can't help one advance in Krishna consciousness. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namile Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, our dear Most Srila Prabhupada, and all the Guru Vargas, may I speak few words in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavaneve Vaishnavev Namo Nama Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giram Yit Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Kathanchana Smite Yasmin Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet Vismite Viparitam Syat Shri Chaitanya Namami Tvam. Hare Krishna. Luckily I remembered my pranam mantra before the class got over. But I was thinking, as soon as I realized that I didn't chant my Mangalacharan, I forgot everything that I had to speak, and I'm happy that I am that way, that I'm not confident in myself. But I take the shelter of, we all take the shelter of our Guru and Srila Prabhupada. Without them I'm nothing. I can't speak. Everything that I speak or know or heard is all because of Srila Prabhupada. And without the mercy, so I was hearing a class by Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, and we all of us would have heard, because we are here in Chaitanya Caritamrta in Madhya, we all of us would have heard this verse, which I will pull out. This is 4.1 Adi Lila. And because whenever I speak Chaitanya Caritamrta, I feel I have no qualification. I have not read Bhagavatam properly. I have not completed Bhagavad Gita. I did because of the course. But, I should not be speaking Chaitanya Caritamrta, but I love Bengali. I love the verses, It's called, I forgot what. Adi 4.1. So I like to read, but I know I don't have the qualification, and I feel guilty about it. And I was hearing this class, beautiful classes, 3 classes by Chaitanya Gaurang Darshan Prabhu on, Gaur Purnima he gave class. He gave one on external reasons for Mahaprabhu's appearance and 2 on internal reasons. And one of the internal reason he was saying this verse, and I felt so happy. So I thought we all will go through and, CC Adi 4.1. Shri Chaitanya Prasadena Tadrupasya Vinirnayam Balopi Kurute Shastram Drishtava Braja Vilasina. Translation. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Braja. according to the vision of revealed scripture. So I feel, okay, I'm the foolish child. So people will forgive me for reciting Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I beg the same from you. Please forgive me. Purport. One can ascertain the meaning of this Sanskrit shloka only when one is endowed with the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Shri Krishna, being the absolute personality of Godhead, cannot be exposed to the mundane instruments of vision. He reserves the right not to be exposed by the intellectual fiats of non-devotees. Notwithstanding this truth, even a small child can easily understand Lord Shri Krishna and his transcendental pastime in the land of Vrindavan by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Beautiful. So if, at least for us, if we think, okay, I can, let go Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and just connect with Krishna, not happening. At least that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. To know Radha Krishna, because this is what, in the purport of today's purport, Prabhupada writes, those not interested in understanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply material in their attempts at professional chanting. Before that. The word, where he says Radha Krishna. When one's intelligence is sharp, he can increase the interest of common man in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and through him in loving Radha Krishna. So again, like, if you love Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will know how to love Radha Krishna. And that for us, that Sume Dasa is Srila Prabhupada, because he's the one who got us to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in making us love Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is also making us love Radha and Krishna. Because Radha Krishna, many time when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the pages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions that, like taking the name of Krishna, you get a lot of offenses. That's why we read the 10 offenses. But when you take the name of Nityananda Ram, when you take the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is no offense. And Mahaprabhu says, like, you can take his name any time, anywhere, right? And there is no offense to it. So for the Kali Yuga people, our, via medium is of course Srila Prabhupada and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Narottam Das Thakur sings, Nitai Pada Kamala. In that he said, those who try to, ignore, surpass Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda's lotus feet and try to directly, serve the deities of Radha Krishna and try to love Radha Krishna directly, there is no way for them. So without Nitai, without Gauranga Mahaprabhu, there is no way for us. So Prabhupada is insisting on this point that, the one intelligent person, the pure devotee, Sumedasa, will somehow or the other make the common man fall in love with Mahaprabhu, and through that you will fall in love with Radha and Krishna, because Mahaprabhu is always in love with Radha Krishna. So when you like somebody, you like to do something that somebody does. So when you love Mahaprabhu, then you will love doing what Mahaprabhu does, and Mahaprabhu is always meditating on Radha and Krishna and their Lila. And I was thinking, as we do Srimad Bhagavatam also, there is a prayer by Srila Sanatan Goswami. He prays to Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a prayer, set of prayers, and in one of it, he writes that, O Bhagavatam, O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly people. So Srimad Bhagavatam, when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it makes you saint from a not so saintly person. So he says, please never leave me, and please settle down. Where? In my heart and on my throat, not in my brain. Like, don't get into your head, but in your heart. So when you read scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, they should transform our heart and not make us something like I should not think that I'm somebody, I'm reading this, I'm reading that, but it should transform our heart, and that's a prayer of Srila Sanatan Goswami. But to understand that, that Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lila, we see, I didn't mention about it, when Pratap Rudra was being told by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya how he can directly see the Lord, he said, you read Ras Panchadhyaya, that is the 5th chapter of the 10th canto, the 5th chapter of Ras Panchadhyaya, the dancing with gopis of Krishna. That chapter you read to Mahaprabhu, and he will forget your external consciousness. He will not be in external consciousness, and he will accept you as a pure devotee, as a true devotee, as a true Vaishnava. So even to understand that, we need the help of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's 8:23. If you have any question, yes. No.
Does anyone else have a question? Did you have a question? Earlier in the class, you gave an analogy that when one is satisfied with enough water, they're satiated. They don't need more.
Trishna,
Can you go back there and tell me what that was in relation to?
Yeah, it says bit Trishna. Trishna in Hindi also, I think, in Bengali at least, definitely Trishna. Like when you say I'm thirsty, you use the word for Bengali, you will say I have Trishna. I mean, I don't know if I say Bengali. Trishna.
Trishna.
Yeah, the word in, this is from 101. It says bit Trishna, which is opposite of Trishna. Like you have no thirst for it. Thirst. Prabhupada writes it as, of course, indifferent, because it's hard to explain it that way. So those learned people, even if they're very learned, they have no taste or a thirst for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Pratap Rudra was asking, why so? Because they're learned, they should know who is he. And that's when Mahaprabhu brings the point of how if one doesn't have the mercy of the Lord, he cannot recognize. And we see Krishna was there and Duryodhana, and nobody recognized, I mean not nobody, but so many people couldn't recognize, because they are envious towards him. And Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam says, if you are envious, you cannot understand scripture. You cannot understand the message of the Lord. Lord himself says, right? I think 9.1 Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for your amazing Chaitanya Charitamrta classes. This is a question you would have heard before, but because you were saying, right, how when we have to develop love for Radha and Krishna, it goes through Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
It first Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Ram, and then it goes to...
Yes, so how do we get more and more attachment towards Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, and like more, like hankering, more personalism, like no, first Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, then Radha Krishna. So how can we be more attached to Mahaprabhu?
For me, it was definitely Chaitanya Charitamrita. For me, because even if like being a Bengali also, I didn't have so much attachment, because I grew up knowing him as a saint, as a saintly personality. Like we had I had mentioned it before in the class also. Like I remember still my mama's house, maternal uncle's house, there's a big cutout of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so he was not a personality whom I hadn't known, but we have known and studied about him as a saint, like Sai Baba and like that, the saintly people. So it was very difficult for me to accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead. But but I trust everything that Srila Prabhupada says. So the moment Srila Prabhupada said he is the supreme personality of Godhead, like Krishna also, we come from India, right? We know everybody is supreme personality of Godhead. God means God, no Godhead. God means God. Shivji is God, Kali is God, everybody is God. Like as an Indian, you understand that. So, but then how do we know Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead? For me, it was Srila Prabhupada who told. So if Prabhupada is saying Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and I have accepted it, so why not when he is saying Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead? I have to accept it. Otherwise, this philosophy called Ardha Kukut Niti. You take it's a half hen philosophy. You take the back of the hen because it gives the egg, and then you don't take the front because you have to just feed and take care of it. So you're spending there, but you're gaining something, you're losing something there. So you don't take the Shastra where it's making you lose. Like, this is not what I think. I don't think Mahaprabhu, because I have known Mahaprabhu as a saint, but not as the supreme personality of Godhead. So I don't accept Srila Prabhupada's that statement, but I accept Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead. That means I don't have faith in the word of Srila Prabhupada completely. So that is one point. Chaitanya Charitamrita and also the Vaishnava Bhajan, because for me it's like any Bollywood song, right? You hear and you feel romantic or sad or whatever. So it's like you hear the bhajan and you hear the Acharya. For me, I don't go to translation. The moment I hear it, and I immediately feel, wow, like what beautiful composition. Whatever, like you read for so long, 1 hour, and you hear one bhajan for 2 minutes. It's the same. It's like what do you say? it immediately makes you Gora conscious. So you had follow up?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we know that Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That understanding is there, but like how in the bhajan it was there that my heart is not like Vasudev Ghosh's heart. Like it's still like stone-hearted. And I know when I say it's like, oh, I'm saying a big statement, but we all know within us, like it's not there. The heart is not melting. So how that pure
we can pray.
Love can come through, for Mahaprabhu. And I don't know how to phrase it.
So when for me, for that goes for anything and everything that I hear, and it makes me feel that I'm not there. So I do pray to Kalachandji or Srila Prabhupada that why am my heart is not melting. He is saying it for the sake so that we understand our heart should melt the moment we say Gauranga. It's not for him. He's saying, like when we know Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he is putting himself down so that we don't think ourselves to be somebody, and we know that that's the mood I should have. He's giving us the mood basically, then expressing his mood, right? So as soon as I hear that, like when I heard this, I referred to the verse as Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. That's the one line I always, and Sadhu Bhushan, if I'm angry, agitated, upset, all those negative things, I'm not a sadhu otherwise also, but at least, we are all trying to be that person, right? But that the quality of that person is being tolerant, being merciful, being friendly, but I'm not showing that. So when I hear a verse like that or a song like that, I pray. Immediately I pray to Srila Prabhupada, to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, to whomever I get inspired by, pray and say, why am I not like that? Will I ever be like that? Can you not make me like that? This is what I ask them, and I pray. And when we do any service also, we dress, and I ask Radharani, can you not make me like that? This is because I sing Vaishnav Bhajan when I'm doing my service. So it reminds me I'm not what I'm singing, but you can make me what I'm singing, only by your mercy. And lovely question, and whoever gives the class, they will read. Prabhupada mentions, and the verses say, it is only by the mercy of the Lord that you become that pure and completely surrender, where you will understand nothing but Krishna, and it is by the mercy. So that's why prayer is the thing, but externally I would say Caitanya Caritamrta and Vaishnav Bhajan. And the more and more we may think, okay, I've learned this Vaishnav Bhajan, let's move on. This is not a Bollywood song that I know this song and I'm done with it. Vaishnav Bhajan is as good as a verse of Bhagavatam, which you can come back to again and again and again and again, and you will see newer and newer and newer and newer revelation. So you may be singing the same bhajan. You may take 1 year to learn a bhajan. That's okay. So long you understand the mood, you have internalized it, it's okay. It is not like the parrot, like, okay, I know that bhajan. But are we internalizing the meaning of it? Is what, like, it's so, like he's saying, like, Ami Gauranga Bolia na gelu Goria. I'm saying Gauranga, but I'm not melting. I'm still here. Like a pashan, like a stone, I'm still standing here. So there is something wrong with me. So we pray for that.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you always for the blissful class.
Foolish child, remember that, okay?
I have a realization and then a question. My realization was in line with Mataji's question.
Speak a little loudly, yeah.
So this realization is in line with whatever Mataji's question and your answer. Initially, when I first started attending Chaitanya Charitamrta classes here, I remember I asked Srinath Krishna Prabhu. He was telling that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful, we need to surrender. I told him that I don't connect to him as much as I connect to Radha Kalachandji. When I come, my eyes first go there. But now after a couple of years of attending Chaitanya Charitamrta class, I see a lot of difference. For example, first time when I went to Mayapur, I didn't connect much. But after hearing CC class, my experience and the bliss when I went to Mayapur was very different. Of course, I'm still not at the stage where our acharyas want us to be with my connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I can see now the difference. And of course, by your mercy, we got Gaurnitai deities. When you gave us, I didn't feel the connection. But now after hearing, even though I'm just hearing once a week, but still with that, I can feel some connection. At least I'm aware, okay, Gaurnitai here, they're very merciful. At least that I need to pray to them, to connect with them, that awareness. I think CC has had a lot of effect on me.
For all of us. Can I quickly? I will repeat. Yeah, she is saying that, initially she did not connect so much, but as she continued here, and first time when she went to Mayapur, she didn't feel so much, she had British-na, indifferent. Sorry. No, she didn't feel so much connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mayapur also she could not connect much. But as she continued serving Gaurnitai deities and hearing Chaitanya Charitamrta, when she went next time to Mayapur, she felt connected, right? Did I say thing? I would also say this is same from Vrindavan also. For me, it is a sandwich. I read, I visit, I read, I visit. I continue doing it, and you can, every time you visit, your visit will go deeper and deeper, and you come back and read, it will go deeper. It's like, it's together, You visit and you also read, and that brings the bliss, to the what do you say, the practice, the bhakti. This is so wonderful. Yes, Mata, you had something.
Yeah, I have a question, Mataji.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that there is no offense when we take Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu's name, and they are more merciful, right? Yeah. And there's more offense in taking Krishna's name. Yeah. So I'm just curious why our acharyas gave us Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, where we are in Kali Yuga, it's a drop of a pin, it's so easy to commit offense. Why didn't they give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda's mantra to chant?
Like, I don't know what to say, but then one thing immediately is coming to me. Sometimes they give very strong antibiotics, right? That's the only thing that can cure us. But then they give us the medicine like digestive. I don't know, what is it called? Tums, I think it's called here. Do you know? Like, Digin. India, we used to eat Digin, the digestive, because antibiotics are very strong in our stomach. It cannot digest. We need a supporting medicine. Tums, Yeah. So this is, I mean, in India, I remember it's a liquid, or even tablets used to come. It used to be called as Dizin, like for digesting the antibiotic, because antibiotic makes you very acidic, and but then without antibiotic, you won't cure. You won't be cured. So that's why you see all, even Bhakti Vinod Thakur and the acharyas who had, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us. So that's what I said. Now, if you love someone, you will do what that person does whom you love, if it is not too complicated to decode. So, like we came to Krishna consciousness not because of Mahamantra, not because of class, not because of Prasadam, because I loved the girl whom I saw teaching over a Bhagavad Gita. She was so amazing. She was so, the moment you see her, I felt like being like her. But what she was doing, I would not chant her name. I would chant what she was. I'm not saying it's the same for Mahaprabhu. I'm just giving an analogy. What I would do, because I wanted to be her friend. So I wanted to do what she was doing. She was chanting 16 rounds. She was not eating onion, garlic, and all the other nonsense that I was doing. So I had to leave it so that I can become her friend. So that's what Prabhupada, as we are saying, Prabhupada says, that see, all question comes to an end by saying Prabhupada says so. Okay? Prabhupada said that we have to chant Hare Krishna, so we chant Hare Krishna. But for our satisfaction, if we need little more, Prabhupada, during Gaur Purnima, I was shared it in the Northeast group also, where Prabhupada is saying Krishna is very merciful, but more merciful is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And the moment he said it, he melted. Ami Gaurango Bolia Nagelu Goria, that is for us, not for Srila Prabhupada. He said and he melted, and beautifully Apremaya Prabhu sent immediately an audio tape of that, and you hear Prabhupada crying. Right? Coming back to your question, because, that's I was thinking, we have to worship. See, ultimately here also, he didn't stop in the purport saying that you will, that such a Sumedasa will teach you how to love Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and eventually Radha Krishna. Right? Our goal is Radha Krishna, but it is through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because that's what the Acharya wanted, that's what Mahaprabhu wanted. Mahaprabhu is to say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So say Krishna, Krishna. So we have to say Krishna, Krishna, because that's the Mahamantra. But the Mahamantra, like we know, right? They say when you start worshipping, don't start directly with Radha Krishna. Prabhupada used to give Gaurnitai deities, or the dolls rather, to worship. And then people will ask, how many times do I, circumambulate the dhoop or the incense sticks? And he said, as long as your hand is not paining and you can't do it. Like we know usually it is 7 times and things. But for the people on the street, that's what he said. Because, and for Brinda Sevika also, I was thinking, Mataji, that, you would have heard it, fake it till you make it. Gauranga Mahaprabhu, it works. I don't know about the material world. With Gauranga Mahaprabhu, it works. You can say like, Gaura, 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 and he will become merciful towards you. You say Gaura, like, when you get up, you sometimes say Krishna and sometimes also say, hey, Gaura, what I would have done without you. You just fake it, okay? And you will make it within a year is my guarantee.
Right. Haribol. I am living proof of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and Srila Gurudev's mercy. Question is, it's a quick one, is a symptom of someone who is really sincere, are they taking shelter of the spiritual master who's representing Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu? Is that the barometer of how much they take shelter of the orders of the spiritual master? I'm just wondering about that.
I don't know how is it connected, but let me see. As I was saying earlier in the class that we heard this song Bhavo Sagar Tar, that Bengali song. This is also about taking shelter of Guru. But if the Guru, this is in general, I'm not telling you Mataji, I'm telling in general, can surrendering Guru is as equal to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but all Gurus may not promote Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If the Guru is totally in love with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then yes. So, yeah, if the Guru is in love with somebody else, I'm not naming anybody, but in India we have so many Gurus who will say you can chant anybody's name and you will get the same result. And Prabhupada will get so mad at hearing it. Right? So growing up, I heard so many things. So if the Guru can take you, take you to the lotus feet, like Prabhupada says, this is again a quote where Prabhupada is saying that I am saying surrender to Krishna, Krishna is saying surrender to me, Mahaprabhu is saying surrender to Krishna, where is the difference? We are all saying the same thing. Then we are in line. So whomever we, if then we are with Guru, we are in line with Srila Prabhupada, and we are in line with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are in line with Krishna. So does it make sense, Mother?
Totally.
Thank you. Go ahead.
We have people online.
Breakfast is at 8:30 by Gopal Prabhu. No, I mean up to you. I'm here. If you want, I'm here. If you want to, Prasadam, please go ahead. Yeah.
So Mataji, I was thinking about this Trishna. So basically, thirst is quenched once you have water. So how is that these Pandits, they don't have thirst?
They don't have thirst?
Like how is that their thirst is gone? Like Ramanand Rai is saying.
So the verse is saying.
Prataprudra is saying here.
So the verse is saying that even if they're Pandit, they don't have any taste for Mahaprabhu. That's what they're saying. Even if they're Pandit. But ideally, if you're a Pandit, then you should have thirst for Mahaprabhu, is what the king is trying to say. So that is what Trishna word is used. Is there a gap between your understanding and mine?
I think so. I was like, you said that Trishna means thirst.
I was just explaining the word. Trishna means thirst. Trishna means opposite of thirst. They didn't have any thirst or desire for Mahaprabhu. And not having desire is one. Like many of us, we also don't have a desire for Mahaprabhu. But do we have the desire to have Mahaprabhu is the discussion that we were having. Like we should have the desire. We may not be, because depending on how our upbringing was and where we are from, etc. But scripture says, Srila Prabhupada says, our acharyas are saying that we should have love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now the question is how to have that. So we also have a bit Trishna, which is like coming from because of our background, but we have to turn it to Trishna and have the desire to know Mahaprabhu. Does it make sense? Thank you, Guru. Where is that verse? You want to chant that verse? You want to chant that verse? Nananvita? You remember that verse? I don't know where I kept it. No. Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam Giyatam Giyatam Mura Chintatam Chintatam Bhaktas Caitanya Charitamritam. O devotees, may the transcendental life and characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always be heard, chanted and meditated upon with great happiness. That was the verse. This is Antya 12.1. Only I remember the verse number. Hari Bol. Thank you so much for your time and patience. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuve cha patitanam pavneveyo vaishnaveyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.